Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jada Asha and I'm back with another video. This video is all about my spirituality, more in depth. I realized that my first video was not all that, it didn't explain really everything, and a friend of mine brought that to my attention. Well, not specifically that, she just brought to my attention that I seem more confident in my videos now than I did at the time that I made that video. That is really awesome because that was kind of the whole reason why I started this channel, was to be more confident in myself and being able to be myself. And so the fact that a close friend of mine was able to notice that I have gotten more confident means a lot. That means like I've actually started to progress, and the main reason that I started this channel. And so I just wanted to kind of go back to that first video where I talked about my spirituality and kind of go more in depth, because I realized that it actually wasn't that informational. Like, I feel like I didn't really say anything in there except I believe in earth magic, which is true, but it's so much more than that. And so I want to be able to explain to you guys what exactly it is that I believe in and how it's helped me in my life and the reason that I began to practice this. So yeah, let's get started. So what I was saying earlier is I believe in the magic of the earth, and that is all so true. And usually people will say, oh, so you must be pagan or Wiccan. And yes, I believe in paganism and Wiccan. I believe in those practices, but I do not consider myself Wiccan or pagan, because I consider myself to be an eclectic spiritual person. I take different practices from different religions, and I incorporate it into my life the way it best suits me. And however that is, or whatever religions it is I'm incorporating, that's just who I am as a whole. I've never really believed in just one thing. I was raised Baptist. You know, I come from a very Baptist family, but and the thing is when I was a kid and I didn't really know anything else than what I was being taught at home, I was actually very religious. I went to church every Sunday. I was in youth church. I was in the step team. I was on the dance team. I was in choir. There were multiple times where I cried during sermons. I was super religious as a kid. As I grew older, I started to kind of fall back on that. Yes, I believe in a God. No, I do not worship a God. I went from believing in God, Jesus Christ, and all of that to believing more in nature and the earth itself. And this is because of a lot of reasons. As my spiritual awakening started, and this started summer of 2015. As my spiritual awakening was starting, I started to have a lot of random memories resurface. Memories that I had long forgotten, and memories that actually shaped who I am. And I don't know why my subconscious mind decided to block these memories out, but they resurfaced as I started to awaken. Things like enjoying being in nature, things like seeing signs, literal signs in nature that told me who I was and who I was supposed to be. And I also remember me as a child just loving to be outdoors, and it was like a love-hate relationship for me, and it kind of still is. I don't like to be outdoors if it's too hot because I don't like to sweat. It's a pet peeve of mine. If I start to sweat, I get really, really angry, and so I don't like to be outside when it's too hot, but I long to be outdoors regardless. So and this is something that it's been like that my entire life. Every time I would go outside, if it was too hot, I would complain a lot. But I liked being outdoors. I liked climbing trees. I liked playing with bugs. I liked playing in the dirt. I just liked being outdoors, and those are things that I still like to do. And now it's all just kind of making sense why I was like that as a kid. And it's not, I know a lot of kids feel that way, and it is because nature is our first religion. Nature, the practice of worshiping nature and the earth was a practice that has been on this earth for so much longer than Christianity or any other religion. So it is something that we all experience as children because it is the most natural thing. As we learn from our family and other people around us, we start to believe in these religions and whatnot, and that is why we forget our true nature. Some of us go back to it and some of us don't, and I'm here to hopefully inspire you guys to go back to your true nature, because it is the most liberating feeling to know that you come from the earth and you're giving back to the earth, and the earth gives back to you just as much as you give to it. I have never felt happier. I suffered with depression and anxiety up until the point that I started to awaken. Once I started to awaken, yes, I was still experiencing periods of depression, but those periods of depression were nowhere near as bad as they were before my awakening. Before my awakening, I would be depressed for months at a time, and I would definitely try to hide it. So if you're one of my friends who has known me for a while, you might not know this. I was severely depressed and I hid it. I was always seemingly super outgoing and just happy-go-lucky, but that was me hiding. I didn't want anyone to know how badly I was actually suffering. I would go home every night and cry myself to bed every single night because I was just so depressed, and I was also hiding it. I had no one to talk to. I felt alone. Even though I had so many friends, I still felt alone. But once I started to awaken, I wanted to be alone. I didn't need all of these friends. I didn't need to constantly be around people. I wanted to be alone. Even now, like, I am okay admitting I am an introvert because I prefer to spend time alone. I do like to go out and do things, but I like to go out and do things by myself. When I have people around me, I feel forced to make conversation when I don't really want to make conversation, and it's just a whole lot of other things. Like, you have to actually consider these people, and it's not that I'm not a considerate person, it's just something that takes a lot of energy out of people, and especially out of introverts. As an introvert, making conversation and considering other people when I'm with them, it takes a lot of energy out of me, and it makes me want to just go back home, crawl in the bed, and just sit there for the rest of the night. And I don't really like to just do that. There are things that I like to do, but I just like to be able to do it by myself. Now, it's funny that I mentioned this whole change because it was like a huge change for me. I started doing yoga, I started going vegan, I started admitting that I was an introvert, I stopped hanging out with people as much. A lot of things changed for me, and I noticed that I started losing a lot of friends along the way, but that was probably a good thing. If I was losing friends, that means that those friends were not suiting a purpose in my life at that time, and that is okay. That happens. Sometimes friends are just there to get you to the next stage in your life, and then they're gone. And that's okay. And so, but it's funny that I mentioned that all of these things are changing, because just the other day I looked up my natal chart. And for those of you who don't know what a natal chart is, it is something that works with astrology. I've always been really into astrology, but not until recently have I actually dived deeper into it. And so I don't want to like try to teach you guys anything, but just a gist of what a natal chart is. It is basically a chart of where all the planets were at the time of your birth. And so in order to get your natal chart, you have to actually know the exact time you were born. Lucky for me, I do know, and so I was able to look up my natal chart. Now, one of the things that I read said verbatim, at some point in your life, you're going to experience an extreme spiritual change in your life. It's funny that I read this now because this extreme change happened 2 years ago, but now I understand why, because it was meant to happen anyways. And there were a whole bunch of other things in my natal chart, things that said that I was going to be more drawn to the mystics, the occult, and spiritual healing, and just things like that. And these are things that I've always been interested in as a kid and growing up, but it are also things that I always tried to deny or say that weren't real, or just, you know, I just denied those things. And in turn, I was denying myself my true purpose in life. And that is the thing that everyone is searching for. What is our true purpose in life? Well, mine just happens to be the mystics and spiritual healing and things like that. And so that is what I am currently learning and going through. That is what's basically what a natal chart is. It explains more in depth everything. So when you find out what your zodiac sign is, and you're reading a whole bunch of stuff about that sign, and you don't feel very connected to it, most likely that means you're connected to a different zodiac within your natal chart. For example, my main sun sign is a Taurus. However, my moon sign is Cancer and my ascendant sign is Aquarius. Yes, I associate a lot with Taurus, but I am also very emotional and sensitive, and I experience feelings on a much deeper level, and that's all Cancer. And I also feel a deep responsibility. That's actually Aquarius. So I have like a lot of different qualities about me, and I never knew where those came from until I looked up my natal chart. So I'll link something in the description below so you guys can also find your natal chart and hopefully answer some of those questions about yourself that you have always been wondering. I'm trying to keep on a schedule. Every Monday I'm gonna try and do a spiritual endeavors video. Every Thursday will be a crystal collection video, and then all the days in between will be whatever random thing I come up with. So definitely look back next Monday, because I will continue this video and talk a little bit more about my spirituality. But I'm always being really weird. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave this video at that, and I'll see you guys next Monday with another spiritual endeavors video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up so that I know that you like this video, and also don't forget to subscribe so that you can see some of the other fun videos that I make. I'll see you guys another day.